Hello. This week we are talking about engagement, as in how to keep your customers engaged, how to bring people in and seek engagement, how to keep your employees engaged, and how to keep you engaged. So, this is a 5-part series. This is Tuesday, so it's part 2, engagement with technology. Specifically, today we're going to talk about email. Let's talk about it. That's right. We're talking about email today. So yesterday, we talked about the basics. We talked about making the calls, having the conversations, and to rely on your contact list to do those things. Today, I want to talk to you about a valuable resource for your business, how to use it, and how to grow it as an asset. So this valuable resource is email. Email. Yuck, right? I hate email. Why is that? Well, I get too much email, you say. And why would I want anyone to receive my emails and clutter their inbox? Well, the reality is there are good ways of doing this and there are bad ways of doing this. So before we go any further, I'm going to tell you, make sure you follow the law, okay? The CAN-SPAM Act, you've got different laws in Europe. You've got all sorts of different laws when it comes to sending emails. People have to want to receive your email and they have to opt in and they have to have the ability to opt out. I'm not going down that road, but the reality is follow the rules, okay? Look them up, but we're not going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about how to actually grow with this. How to grow with this. So here's the reality. You do look forward to some emails. You do. I do. Each day I get a handful that I really like. I get up and I look forward to opening those emails and learning something, growing, becoming more, solving a problem, or understanding pertinent news to me. Your customers feel this way as well. So how do you become the person whose email they want to look forward to? How do you do that? Let's talk about some of this, because studies show that roughly 30% of people actually open their emails regularly. I think it varies based upon what they're receiving. Do they receive something they look forward to? Do they not? I mean, think of it this way. Did you ever get the newspaper where you go out and you're like, I get the newspaper, it's part of my routine? Well, we actually do open emails as part of our routine. It happens. Text messages are more random, emails are more regular. So we need to become a regular part of somebody's life through value creation. So how do we do that? Well, there are a few things that you can focus on in order to become that part. And I want to tell you, I'm not saying that you should go out and just randomly send out email campaigns and go, I'm going to put them on a drip campaign and it's my standard, whatever. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, you need to think about these 4 things, and it has to be valuable to whoever you're sending it to. So the first thing, personalization. This is important because we want to be treated like we're an individual. We like being parts of groups, but we want to be treated like we're an individual, like somebody cares about us as a human. That's why you're actually more inclined to open an email that has your first name in the front of it. Have you ever noticed that? And that's actually part of the email campaign companies out there. A lot of them, you can put like these brackets that says first name from somebody who's on your in your CRM or in your customer list or something like that, and it'll put their first name there. But what's also interesting, and I've played around with this a little bit, you might have as well, when you fill out an email list, instead of a first name, you put something different. So you know what you're putting in there for this particular company. Like I might put a, Smith list or a, manufacturing list or something like that, so that I know where this email is coming from, where I signed up. So personalization is important because a lot of people do put that in there. But if you're trying to segment where you get your emails from, you might also fill out what is your first name that way. So personalization is important. It's better than just the generalized greeting. Or maybe it's, hey there, something a little more closer to your personality type. But think personalization. And also think, what do they see? What do they see on the front end of that? So what do they see is your heading and your subhead. Your heading and your subhead. That's really important as well in that personalization, because it has to be something that you want to read, something you want to open. So what is a heading? It's the subject line. So when you open up your phone, for instance, maybe it's an iPhone, you'll see a subject line in your email. And then you also see the subhead, which is like the first 2 or 3 lines there. Those two things are probably the 2 most important parts of the personalization. Does this email matter to me? This is your newsletter you wanted to see. And we're going to talk about newsletters here in a second. But this is the email you asked me for. Whatever it might be, what does that personalization have to do with your delivery? So measure that. There's no specific, there's no magic wand to this, but it needs to sound good, like they personally want to open it. The second thing, value. You can't send them just garbage, and you can't send them a sales pitch every day. I'm sorry, I don't want to be sold to. I want to receive value. It might be a discount, it might be a coupon, or it might be valuable information that's going to make my day better. Or maybe it's something I'm learning. It's a series on leadership, like this 5-day series on engagement. So people want to open things that have a closed loop in there, or have an open loop in their head, so that they can find the answer. So if I tell you tomorrow I'm sending you part 3 of this, and it comes in an email or something of that nature, you're going to be more inclined to open it, because you're going to be like, oh, I was waiting for that. So think about that. Value. Value closes the loop in someone's head. It solves a problem. It brings a challenge to the surface. It prevents loss, or it affects gain. So what is that value? Third thing, regular and consistent newsletter. I mentioned the newspaper before. This is important. Somebody might want to know what's going on in the housing market. A regular and consistent email that delivers housing market results. You know, what's been really interesting lately is I get a weekly email about COVID and the different COVID reports around the US, Canada, Europe, the world, things like that. What's going on with COVID? I get a regular email about that. I'm like, oh, I wonder what's going on with that. And that does affect my business, because it impacts, we're a global company, it impacts what's going on around there. So a regular and consistent email. Another one, the economy. Another one might be, call it interest rates. It might be the latest trends in automobiles, if you're in the automotive industry. But whatever it is, it's a regular and consistent email to keep you educated, because we learn best in little bits. We learn best in little bits. And that email educates us little bits at a time. And then the fourth thing, and I also subscribe to this, a thought that makes you better or happier. I get a daily one, a daily thought that makes me better or happier. And it's fantastic. I look forward to that. It's part of my routine. I feel good about that. And it gives me something to look forward to. So think about this. So how do you get things to fit one of those? So if you can fit your information into one of those, you stand a greater chance of being noticed, because ultimately that's what we want. We want to be noticed. We want to be interacted with, and that creates engagement. Hello, that's what we're here for this week. So bottom line though, put out good information. Put out good information. Don't beat people over the head with your value proposition. They want to know, do you care about them? Because remember this, you're not selling a product, okay? You're not selling a service. You are serving a customer. There's a difference between selling something and serving someone. People who focus on their product are internal facing. People who focus on their customer are external facing. They want to know that you care about them. Remember the 3 most important words to somebody? The 3 most important words to somebody are me, myself, and I. So how do we serve people without them feeling like they're wasting time? Because they're not willing to waste time on your emails. They want something that keeps them captivated. Maybe you tell a story. They love a hero's journey, a challenge. A guide comes in and guides that person that's challenged to the journey that they become the hero in the story. Or maybe succinct, valuable information with a few tips, a list, top 3, top 5, top 7, ways to prevent this, ways to make that happen. So solve a challenge or make somebody happier. And really measure the engagement in these things. Measure the engagement because open rates matter. If you see your open rates going down, why did they go down? If you see your engagement rates go down, why did they go down? There are a lot of services out there that measure this. They score that person's open rates. In fact, I'm even a member of an email list that if you don't open something for a few days in a row, it's a daily email. If you don't open something for a few days in a row, guess what? You're kicked off the list. The list is kept clean, if you will, to only engaged people. And there are services out there that can do that. It's fascinating when you dig deep into this. So having a list you maintain with your customers really matters. It matters a lot. And that's an asset to your business. Get people to sign back up on occasion just to show that they're engaged. Ask them to post or forward the email with a call to action. Maybe you have links on social to see if they do. What's working? What's not working? What are they sharing? What are they not sharing? This is important. All of these different aspects are really important because, like I said, this is an asset. A company can be measured based upon the number of customers and the frequency of transaction with those customers. The number of customers and the frequency of transaction with those customers. That's value to your business when you go to sell that or when you go to really go gather more money to put in there or sell parts of it or something like that. That helps you. So your next goal through email, after we've done all that, is nurture people. Send good stuff to keep people engaged. Keep you noticed as being present in their lives. Okay? That's important. And give value to create the factor of reciprocity. So what's reciprocity? That's you giving value to them and they do business back with you. It's a factor of influence and it works well in business. So is email still good for growing businesses? Absolutely. It's one of the top things you should be focused on is how many customers walk in the door? How many do you deal with each day? And what does your email list look like? Is it growing? Is it shrinking? Have you utilized it or does it just sit there? Think about that. So tomorrow, what are we going to talk about? We're moving further into engagement. And we're going to talk about something that many people really dislike. Many people really dislike, but works really, really well. So tune in tomorrow. We'll take a look at that. Have a great day, everybody. Love you guys. Thanks for all you do. See ya.